Alberto, listen to me carefully. On your personal 9/11 of 2017, you will be arrested for a cybercrime you did not commit.
Imagine for a second, a conversation across time. A message not to change the past, but to arm someone for the fight of their life. We're about to step back to September 11th, 2000, where a super ambitious 25-year-old cybersecurity expert is about to meet a pretty unexpected visitor, his future self.
Now that's the message. It's a real head-scratcher, right? A total paradox. It's a warning that perfectly sets the stage for a tragedy where doing the right thing, where being the good guy, not only doesn't help, it gets you punished. So let's dig in and unpack how it all went so incredibly wrong.
So this visitor is a weary, 45-year-old Alberto Hill. And the person he's visiting, well, that's his own 25-year-old self. A guy who called himself a digital knight, just brimming with ambition and this rock-solid belief that doing the right thing is always enough.
Now you'd think the older Alberto is there to stop it, right? Nope. He's come back on the anniversary of the day his life was completely shattered, not to prevent it, but to explain it. To prepare his younger self for that gut-wrenching moment when his entire world would be flipped upside down by the very systems he was trying so hard to protect.
So how in the world does a protector become the #1 suspect? Well, it all starts with his code of ethics. Young Alberto's whole philosophy was about finding security flaws and reporting them, responsibly. But what he's about to find out is that when you're dealing with a system that has zero understanding of the digital world, an act of protection can get twisted into a crime.
Okay, look at this timeline, because this is where everything just goes off the rails. See that gap? In 2014 and 2015, Alberto does his job. He finds a weakness, he reports it, he does it again. Then, nothing. Years go by. Then, in 2017, some other person, a real criminal, uses that exact same flaw, which was never fixed, to extort money. And when the police investigate, they find Alberto's old report and make a catastrophic leap. They mistake the guy who raised the alarm for the guy who started the fire.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. The real villain of this story wasn't a person. It was the system itself, a legal framework that was, let's be honest, stuck in the past, completely crashing into the realities of the digital age. It just couldn't tell the difference between a white hat hacker trying to help and a black hat criminal trying to cause harm.
This is where it goes from a misunderstanding to a full-blown public spectacle. I mean, they took his standard issue professional tools, the kind of stuff any cybersecurity pro uses every day, and paraded them in front of news cameras like they were a supervillain's arsenal. He was painted as guilty from the get-go, all because of a profound, almost willful ignorance about technology.
And you'd think that's the worst it could get, right? His reputation is in tatters. But hold on. The next chapter of this tragedy is almost impossible to believe. We're about to see how his entire fortune was systematically wiped out, not by a market crash, but by sheer mind-numbing incompetence.
Okay, to really get what happens next, we need a quick primer on digital wallets. It's simple, really. On the one hand, you have a self-custody wallet, like his ledger. Think of it like a personal safe in your house. Only you have the key. On the other hand, you have a custodial wallet, like his account on the WEX exchange. That's more like a vault at a bank. Somebody else is holding your stuff for you. This difference is everything, and it's why his money got wiped out in two totally different ways.
First, let's talk about his personal safe, that ledger device. The police get a hold of it. Do they call it an expert, someone who knows what they're doing? Nope. They just start guessing the PIN. One wrong guess, two wrong guesses, and after the third try, poof! The device does exactly what it's designed to do to protect its owner from theft. It wipes itself clean. Gone. 27 Bitcoin and a bunch of other assets just turned into digital dust. Forever.
So that's one fortune, gone. What about his digital bank vault on the WEX exchange? Well, remember, the police confiscated his phone. The problem was, that phone was his two-factor authentication key. It was the only way to get into his account. So while he's locked up, he's also locked out. And when that exchange eventually collapses, he's completely powerless. He can only watch as over $100,000 just disappears. As staggering as losing all that money is, believe it or not, the story gets even darker. We're moving beyond simple incompetence now and into what his lawyers say were just profound violations of his basic, fundamental human rights.
I mean, just listen to this list. He's interrogated for hours, no lawyer in sight. He says they actually threaten his family to coerce him into a false confession. Then, for 48 critical hours, they deny him his prescribed medication for ADHD and anxiety, making it impossible to think clearly. And the core evidence against him? A stack of unverified paper printouts. It's like trying to convict someone using a photocopy of a murder weapon. It's insane. And the whole time, the police are leaking to the media, destroying his reputation before he even gets to court.
And if you need one single detail to show just how surreal and completely absurd this investigation was, here it is. They confiscated his pet cactus. I am not kidding. His cactus named Walter. Why? Because they thought it was dangerous. A cactus. For Alberto, that little bizarre detail became the perfect symbol for how utterly disconnected from reality the whole ordeal was.
So, after 8 agonizing months in pretrial detention, Alberto was finally fully exonerated in 2022. But you don't just walk away from something like that unchanged. The trauma transformed him. He absolutely refused to be a victim. Instead, he channeled all that pain and injustice into a new mission. The digital knight was reborn.
Out of this nightmare, he developed this really unique philosophy. You know how in crypto there's proof of work, where computers burn massive amounts of energy to prove a transaction is valid? Well, Alberto created proof of love. For him, the only way to truly prove a human connection was real was by going through immense trauma together. The pain he and his girlfriend at the time endured, that became the ultimate validation of their bond.
But he didn't just sit around and philosophize, he took action. He documented every single failure, every injustice, every absurd detail in his book, Operation Bitcoin's Login to Hell. It's not just his story. It's a massive warning sign. It's a call to action, to fight for digital justice, making him a powerful voice for anyone else who might get caught in that dangerous gap between law and technology.
Which brings us right back to where we started, that conversation back in 2000. This is the final message the future Alberto gives his younger self. And it's not a message of despair. It's one of incredible resilience. He's saying, look, this terrible thing is going to happen. You can't avoid
Alberto,
it, but you can survive it. And
On
what
your
you become on the other
9/11
side,
of 2017,
that's up to you.
will be arrested
You can
for a
turn it into
cybercrime
something that
you did not
matters.
commit.
And that really leaves us with this critical question. Alberto Hill's story is a dramatic, deeply personal example of a huge global problem. Technology is moving forward at the speed of light, but our legal systems, our social structures, they're all struggling to keep up. His story forces all of us to ask, in this collision between the past and the future, who's the one who gets crushed in the middle?